Okay, now we are going to the topic of same topic, that is the purification of overcoming doubts by knowing the cause and effect and different types of causal relationship. This is a difficult topic because it involves many things like karma, rupa, dependent origination, and also other things like chula sotapanna. Okay, now we finish about rupa. There are some part there, right? So now we continue on this dependent origination. Okay, the text is here. So, okay, now I like to refer to my previous thought and previous teaching on the Abhidhamma. That is on this one. So I think most of you know this chanting. If you have not learned the chanting, it's good for you to memorize it because this chanting is very important as the essence of the Visuddhimagga, essence of the dependent origination. Okay, avijja pachaya sankhara, sankhara pachaya vijnanam, vijnanam pachaya nama rupam, nama rupam pachaya salayatanam, salayatana pachaya phaso, phassa pachaya vedana, vedana pachaya tanha, tanha pachaya upadanam, upadana pachaya bhavo, bhava pachaya jati, jati pachaya jara maranam, Sokha paridewa dukkha domana suppayasa samavati evamitasa kevalasa dukkha ganasa samudaya hoti. And then follow. First you memorize the Pali, then you follow by the English. So you start with the ignorance, condition the sankhara. That means that due to the ignorance formation, sankhara arise. Then sankhara leads to rebirth consciousness, vijnana. Vijnana lead to nama rupa.
Hả?
Nama rupa leads to salayatana. Salayatana leads to phassa. Phassa leads to vedana. Vedana leads to tanha, craving. Craving leads to clinging. Clinging leads to craving to clinging, clinging to bhava, bhava to jati, birth. Then the normal things we know is aging, death, and so on. Okay, so the beginning is always avijja, right? So when we are talking about dependent origination, if you summarize, it's very easy. It's just the first one is cause, the second part is the effect. The next one, the result on the first one become the cause, and then it become the it leads to result. And this result again become the cause and lead to another result. And this result again become the cause and this one. So it's a kind of linking between cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. This means that if avijja is the cause, sankhara is the result. If sankhara is the cause, then consciousness is the result. Then consciousness is the cause and mind matter is the result. Okay, so you will see this in any of the like this one. Okay, then here is talking about direct order. Okay, so it's talking about this one with the ignorance as a condition. There are formations. So this one. So this is called dependent origination in direct order. Then another one is called reverse order, which is in the document. This means that if from the end, from the aging all the way to birth, birth to becoming to clinging, clinging to craving, craving to feeling, feeling to contact, contact to sex and fall, sex before base, then to mentality, materiality, then to consciousness, formation, and ignorance. So it's either direct order or reverse order. Okay. Now, what we actually trying to see is one way for, if you remember, one way we learn is always to either you go for memorizing. Once you memorize the Pali, you can memorize by how is it easy for you to remember which is cause or effect. Or if not, you just need to go for the visualization. That means they buy a chart. So in Myanmar, they have one meditation center. They call it the Mogok, MOGOK, Mogok. They actually learn by just looking at the charts. So this chart is a little bit blur because I copy from my another one version already cannot see. But anyway, is we know that on this chart, we can see the ignorance, then to the formation, then this is the past, ignorance in the past. Due to ignorance in the past, you have formation, and then that leads to rebirth consciousness in this life, then mind, matter, sex, sense, base, contact, and feeling. Due to feeling, there's craving. So due to craving, they're clinging. Then bhava, kama bhava, then the five aggregates, then birth and jara marana, aging and death. So this we call it direct order, or when you from this side, ignorance onward is direct order. So when we say reverse order, or the other way around, is from the aging. Why aging? You have to ask yourself. So sometimes in the Tipitaka, it has this question, why is it aging? So the answer is due to birth. And why is it their birth? Because they are acquisition of the five aggregates. And why is five aggregates? Because of the karma bhava. And why is it? Because of their clinging in a past life. Then the clinging is due to craving. Then craving is because the good feeling. And good feeling is because the contact between the sense base and sense object. To have contact, you must have sense base. Sense base is part of the nama rupa. Okay. Then after that, there must be rebirth consciousness. And after that, there will be all these are due to sankara. So either reverse order or direct order. Anyway, the purpose is for us to see what is cause and effect, cause and effect. So to understand about dependent origination is necessary because it is part of the important cause and effect. Now, in Dharma, how many cause and effect? Okay, so before we continue, yeah, so I just ask you all this question. How many cause and effect you all know? How many cause and effect you know so far? Sister Wong? Okay. Yes.
Good evening, Sir G. Good evening, everybody.
Mm.
How many cause and effect?
Mm.
Karma vipaka. There are many.
I mean, no, don't go inside the cheetah or somebody. Just generally, how many cause and effect you think that you know?
Um,
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4.
Okay. What are four so far?
Oh, you asked me, yeah? One
Mm.
is I can't remember the words, but I roughly know around 4 like that. Oh, no, something to do with seed one, right?
Okay.
Sorry, I cannot remember the
Okay, we talk
name.
about generally, in general, okay, beside this, there are how many cause and effect you will know? Now, we know about this dependent origination, right? Okay, beside this dependent origination, how many cause and effect, other cause and effect that you might know? Next answer, anybody? This is the first one. Second one should be what?
Four
Past
Noble
cause,
Truth.
Four
present
noble
effect,
truth.
present cause.
Yes. Four noble truth. Yes.
Oh,
Okay. What else? No other answer? Okay, karma. So just now we just briefly talk about karma, right? So karma is also cause and effect. So what else? Okay. So Generally, you need to know. Now we are studying the dependent origination. We are going to study karma. But so far, we also know there's a cause of suffering. There's a suffering. There's a Four Noble Truth. All right. And you all think about it. How many cause and effect you know? This will really improve your mind. You have to think out the box. Since, of course, we are talking about different cause and condition to do with beings. But we can see all this happen in our life also. Yeah, later we come back. All right. Sometimes I cannot give you all the answer one.
Sorry.
Spoil you all too much. Okay. So let's go for next one. Okay, now forward order and backward order. So karma is also one of the important order. All right. Now, so the paragraph is talking about just like what I mentioned. This actually, if you just understand, is to do with cause and effect in life. You can just put in way. The whole thing is cause and effect in life. And this reverse, this is the above is reverse order. That's what it's trying to say that is uh sometimes we use the real word reverse order, but sometimes we maybe use the word you also can use the word like backward, because it's going from the backward from the aging to the birth to becoming. So instead of using the word reverse, we can use the word backward. Then it will contrast with the dependent origination in direct order. Okay, now actually the main thing is about this one. Karma and round of karma and round of karma result. Okay. This is some important point here. So okay, I think it's difficult to go through the charts here. So we just refer to this one. Later I'll share with you all for those who are new one. Now we have 3 rounds. We call it round of defilements. The ignorance is a defilement, and it linked with the craving and clinging. So you can see this is actually one cause, because due to the defilement, there's avijja, it will have the karma. Due to the ignorance, it leads to the karma. So karma is a round of karma. So karma is a green color. Here, another one is karma bhava. So due to the round of defilements, the red color will lead to the green color, that's round of karma. And due to the karma here and the vipaka result, that is the 5 aggregates. In fact, we say the vipaka means 5 aggregates because all the consciousness, mind, matter, six sense based contact, feeling, all these are belong to 5 aggregates. Okay, so the result vipaka is a 5 aggregates will appear. So you can see always the red color, green color, black color, red color, green color, black color. So we are using color because it's easier to explain in a chart. Because when you read the words, they are very wordy. So in brief, due to the Klesa Vata, this is called round of defilement, will lead to Kama Vata, round of karma. Due to round of karma, when it means that we are doing good or bad action, then the result will be 5 aggregates, vipaka will come. So this is called the 3 rounds. Okay, the 3 rounds. So what you see is the statement here is actually, this part is the most important. Okay. That I put here already. Okay, so this is the most important. So Kamawata. Another distance mentality materialist condition by means of round of karma, and the round of karma result in this way. So round of karma is Kamawata. Vata is round. And round of karma result is vipaka. Vipaka means karma result, or we call it karmic result, vata. Right? So you say here there will be ignorance, That is in a previous time. After that, then will be formation. Okay. Then there will be craving. Craving, there's embracing, there's a clinging, there's evolution. So this one. So this is actually difficult to read. Present becoming, rebirth, linking, consciousness, design, mentality, sensitivity. All right. Okay. All right. So this one is they are explaining the whole paragraph here is explaining from the Visuddhimagga. So it is also another book very difficult to read. Okay. So that's why the information here given is coming from few information from the Abhidhamma and also from the Visuddhimagga. So it's combining of few information. So that's why it's difficult to read. So anyway, if you can remember in brief, we are talking about this Klesa Vata, rounds of defilement will cause the rounds of karma. And rounds of karma will cause the vipaka. So if you can remember these 3 rounds, which is easier to remember rather than remember the text there. Okay, so when you pick out the round of defilements, you have to pick out when you pick out the avijja, you have to pick out the craving and clinging because they are same. And when you pick out the sankhara, you have to pick out the kama bhava. And when you pick out the vipaka, you also have to consider this consciousness, mind matter, and so on, which is same with birth, aging. Because in brief, there are 5 aggregates in ultimate truth. Okay, so there's a paragraph we're trying to talk about this just now. I think we will just kind of like go through briefly because if we are going to do it very detailed, it will take us another 3 classes just to do dependent origination. So what we just need to sum up is there's a klesa vata, which is a round defilement that lead to karma, and then this will lead to vipaka vata. It's with the dot there. So this means that when there's a defilement in the mind, they make us do some action, okay? And this action can be good or bad. And due to good or bad action, it will create the 5 aggregates in the future. So this, if we sum up in this way, so this is a sum up for the dependent origination in terms of 3 rounds. And in terms of cause and effect. Okay. So defilements is the cause, lead to the effect, the karma. And due to karma as a cause, it leads to the effect, vipaka. So this means that, let's say, for example, you have craving. Okay. Due to craving, you might do good action. You might do the good action because you want to you do good action, even with the thoughts like to be reborn in heaven like this. Okay, so even though it's a good action, yes, it will lead you to born as with the 5 aggregates as a human or deva in the future. So this is a series of cause effect. So even with the craving, somebody might do bad action. But then you also acquire the 5 aggregates, either born as hell or whatever. Okay, it's the same thing. So anyway, so whatever you do, either good or bad, these 3 rounds, we call it the rounds of defilements, round of karma, round of vipaka. So these 3 will continue again and again. So that's why in dependent origination, so we call it these 3 rounds. Okay, so it's a cause and effect, cause and effect. All right. So the rest, I think we will just briefly go through because I don't think I want to go through here because it's a very big topic by itself. Okay. So we just, if you want to know, you just have to memorize the dependent origination again, the Pali first. Okay. For those who want to learn this topic, I suggest you memorize the Pali and try to remember the factors here. Okay, totally all the factors: ignorance, sankara, then consciousness, mind matter, six sense bases, contact, feeling, craving, clinging, life existence, birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, display. Okay, in this way, the mass of suffering will occur, right? So this is the brief explanation of this. Okay. So yeah, so I think we will just go to the next topic. Now, karma is actually much more important for us because karma is something that we can see in our life. Right. Now, the text here is for who never learned Abhidhamma before, it look very not easy to understand. Okay. So it's talking about karma. You can divide to a few way of seeing. One is the time of ripening. Is it ripened in this life, here and now, or is it to be on next life, or the subsequent life, or it might not going to appear. So this why we call it lapse karma. And then talking about first of seven impulsion and so on. I would just want to refer to my notes, so because I think it's easier. So the one in table is actually coming from my Abhidhamma notes. So we have seven jhana in the mental process. So the first one will produce result in this life. So this is called Ditta Dhamma Vedaniya, immediately effective. Some they say is because it's the weakest, as there are no repetition. It has no repetition from the other, since the first one should be the for other different types. It's the first jhana only. So means that sometimes when we do things, I try to explain in an easier way. Sometimes when we do things, let's say you do dana, so you can experience the result immediately in this life. You don't need to wait until next life because there is a possible for this time of ripening. But there are also sometimes when we do karma, it might happen in a second lifetime, right? So this is called subsequently effective. This is called second lifetime. This means that not in this lifetime, but in the next lifetime. This is because of the last of the seven jhana. So seven jhana, the first one is happen on the number one, and this number seven is happen on the number two. So because it will produce result in the next life, second life, because it's the second weakest, according to Lady Sayadaw, or it's the strongest, according to other teacher. So if you need to understand, you can refer to Handbook of Abhidhamma, Volume 2, page 183. Right. So there are something when we do, even in the past life, it still occur now. Because this is called, due to the five jhana, it produce the result from the third life up to final life. So not even the Buddha or Arahant is exempt from this karma. This means that when we do anything maybe 500 years or 500 lifetime ago, and then if it's still effective, it might still produce result now. Because this all the way until end of the life. This means the end of the life of Arahant. Final life of the Arahant. Okay. So sometimes we have karma that is not going to work because it has no opportunity due to no opportunity to happen this life or next life or whatever, lack of condition. So, for example, when Arahant attain Parinibbana, the karma accumulated in the past life, which were due to ripen in the future life, become defunct. This means that because of no opportunity, the karma will never happen anymore. So this we call it the time of ripening. Anything we do can happen in this life, or second life, or maybe next life, or it might not happen. All right. So this is in terms of karma. So the explanation of both is in this way, same, right? Now, order ripening means some of the karma might happen very fast, some might happen frequently, and so on. So it's the same like my notes there. So I just here, it's a good revision for those who learned before. So in order of ripening means what will happen? Let's say when we are doing so many karma, good or bad. So which karma will really take place for the next rebirth? Okay. Now the unwholesome karma, very heavy one, we call it Garuka karma. So for example, killing mother, killing father, killing an arahant, and nobody can kill the Buddha. They can only wound the Buddha. So that's why we don't say kill the Buddha, only wound the Buddha, make the Buddha injured by Devadatta. Or he also break out the Sangha, so schism, by the bhikkhu only. Okay. Sometimes they say the might include the serious wrong view. Okay. So I put bracket, it might not happen at all. But anyway, these five one are very heavy. So in terms of karma, this will happen first. It's like when you put a heavy stone, you drop on the water. So this heavy stone will immediately sink down. So that's the thing. So in terms of wholesome karma, it can be jhana. If somebody get jhana, and supramundane is like path and fusion, or abhinya. Abhinya including the psychic power. So this is considered as a wholesome karma. But this wholesome karma can replace one. For example, when the Devadatta, even though he has psychic power, he can remember when he tried to convince the young prince to follow him. So he created a kind of like snakes around his body, whatever. But he also lost his jhana. Why he can lose it? Just mean that the wholesome, strong, heavy karma, wholesome karma like jhana can lose because of his unwholesome karma. That is a schism. He tried to break the Sangha and also wounding the Buddha, right? Okay, it's another one. So, and then the prince he tried to convince to follow him is Ajatasattu. So that means that the Garuka karma will happen first in terms of so many cause and effect. So this will be happen really first. But there are some karma that if you don't do this, so the next one might happen will be that proximate karma. It's a karma that doesn't renew shortly before we pass away. So that's why before we pass away, we should try to recollect our good deeds. And also we should try practice meditation to have a pure mind. Because when we have pure mind, we get a very good nimitta, and based on this nimitta, we will reborn in the next life. So this is called that proximate karma. And if you don't have this one, the most going to happen will be this habitual. But we can think in this way, something that we done frequently. If you done something daily, you are very pious, you always offer dana, and if you have good faith in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, or if you are somebody who always collect your mind, you try to practice purity of mind. So this is we call it habitual karma. Actually, habitual karma will influence how our debt was make karma. Because if something we do it frequently, even though when we are going to pass away, normally at that time, the mind is very weak. But if you have the habitual karma, even though your mind is weak, but you will automatically start to recollect of your daily action. Okay, sometimes that's why according to a different teacher, some they say habitual karma might overtake the debt cosmic karma. Okay, some people they put this 2 and 3, they replace it. Okay, so either you can put the 2 or 3 and 2. So this means that the habitual karma sometimes might happen as an order ripening even before the debt cosmic karma. And then there are some karma that done without any special position. It's just a kind of like very normal karma. So if any of this 1, 2, 3 not around, so if it has a chance, it might happen. Okay, so this is in terms of karma. So because later I need you all to do discussion, so you all can just refer to some of these. And then there are some we call it productive. Remember all these are translated from Bali, so that's why here the translation is productive, consolidating, frustrating, and supplanting. So it's like somewhat I write here. So there are one karma we call productive karma. Productive karma means that it can produce rebirth linkage. This means that it will allow us to reborn. So this is called janaka. Okay, so this is why it call it productive, because the function is really to produce another rebirth. So it's, for example, people born as human or deity, animal, ashura, beta, or hell. And then when it happens beside the rebirth linking consciousness, then it will have also the cetasika and then the karma born. So immediately somebody born, this means that the mind matter, nama rupa, will exist in the next life, next instant. Okay, somebody might born as human or somebody might born as dog. Now, supportive karma. What is supportive karma? Supportive karma is just like the English say. It just support this productive karma. So it can be wholesome or unwholesome. So that's why the Pali word is called upatambaka. For example, born as human is considered as good productive karma. And then we have very good supportive karma. It support your human life to be better. Okay, so you are born as a healthy human, so you really enjoy your human life. Okay, now I talk about this one first. Obstructive karma is either wholesome or unwholesome. They obstruct the productive karma. So I just take this example, okay? You are born as human. Now, you have some bad karma obstruct. This means that even though you're born as a human, you cannot enjoy the human life because you might have some sickness or you are born in a poor place. So you cannot enjoy the this productive karma. Okay? So supportive karma, if you are human, it will be wholesome. Obstructive karma, it will be unwholesome. Okay? Because it make your human life not happy. You are sick, poor. Right? Now, we're going to look at another example. Now, productive karma is somebody born as a dog. Dog is considered as a unwholesome karma. To be born as animal, ashura, beta, or hell beings, all these are bad productive karma. And let's say he's born as dog. But if the dog has kind owner and has a owner that be able to protect it, so we can call it in a way, we can think it is obstructive karma because it obstruct the bad karma or born as a dog. So it obstruct the bad karma, so this considered as wholesome karma, obstruct the bad karma as a dog. All right. So sometimes obstructive karma can be also wholesome one. Or maybe somebody born as Ashura. Okay, it's a bad karma. But obstructive karma means that this Ashura may be beautiful in looking also. Now, as a dog, the dog, yeah, dog life is not considered very comfortable. People see the dog all the time. They thought dogs have nothing to do. Dog just eat and sleep. Dog having a good life. But as a dog, they also, uh, they cannot observe the precept. And dogs, they cannot make good marriages. So they are actually wasting their time because they cannot make any good marriages. We are not talking about those super intelligent dogs. We are talking about normal dogs, okay? So as a dog is considered unwholesome. And what happens if there's another unwholesome supportive karma? It makes the dog to be ugly. So if the dog is ugly, not beautiful, has many sickness, so then the dog will suffer more. And maybe there's another supportive karma, which is unwholesome, support the unwholesome dog life by extend the dog life, maybe many 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Okay. So anyway, supportive or obstructive, it can be wholesome, unwholesome. You have to think about that. So later on the discussion, you all can choose this topic because karma is actually easier for you all to discuss rather than dependent origination. Okay. Now, destructive can be wholesome or unwholesome. They obstruct the weaker karma. So sometimes the karma is weak. So there might be a strong karma that can just obstruct it or just destroy it. Right? For example, somebody born as human. So suddenly something happened and he become blind. Or human and then permanent death. So it just totally stop the human life. Okay, so you all can think about all these topics. So all these are just kind of like we can think about many angles because there are many types of karma, and as a human, as a dog, is the anyway, just try to see what is cause and effect might happen. Okay, just take one example during your discussion. Maybe you discuss about human life or dogs or cat or whatever. All right, now there are 12 classes of karma. Why is it? Because we have when we look at the previous Abhidhamma notes, okay, so we have time of ripening, we have place of ripening. Uh, okay. So there are four ways to see here. I'll just copy this. Okay. So there are four ways to see here. The one I highlight with yellow means it's not in the notes. Okay. So we have function, we have order or ripening. Which one is going to happen first? There are time or ripening in this life or previous in this life or future life and so on. Embrace or ripening. So there are four times each will be 4. Okay, so you have a 16. But here is only 12. Why? Because the one that not mentioned in the Visuddhimagga is the place of ripening. Right? So far in Visuddhimagga already mentioned in the notes, there's a function mentioned here. Order of ripening also mentioned, time of ripening mentioned, but the place of ripening is not mentioned. The succession of karma and its result in the 12 classes of karma is clear in its true nature only to the Buddhas. Knowledge of karma and result, which knowledge is not shared by disciples. But the succession of karma and its result can be known in part by one practicing insight. That is why this explanation of difference in karma show only mere heading. So this means that when you practice insight, you don't see all. You only know little bit only, or maybe some of them. Some of them we know even though we know by inference, okay? So if you want to see this, what you say that only the Buddha really can see everything. Even like the karma and result is not shared. The disciple will not be able to know the karma. So that's why in one Pali word, there's one Pali word we call it achintya. Because in many times the Buddha said the karma is this Pali word. That should not be think. All right? Because all these are, you can see here, there are 4 parts that you should not be think is mentioned there. Right. The spears of the Buddha, the jhana, the karma result, and then the world. Especially the beginning of it. So these 5, especially the karma, we cannot think about it because karma is very profound. Because karma concerning their 31 plans of existence, there are many beings, and each of them, they have different types of karma. And in our life, we don't have one karma. We have many karmas work together. So this is, we call it the Pali word achintiya. We should not think about that, but we can just consider. Okay? We can just consider little part of karma. If we're going to think about all the things about karma, we might too heavy for the mind. Alright, so we only know little bit only. So all these are not shown the place of ripening, but we will know that when somebody do unwholesome, they will go for woeful states. There's a plan number 1 to 4. And if they do wholesome, they will go for human and deva. There's a 10 wholesome deeds. If they practice the Rupavachala jhana, they will go for the Rupavachala plan. If they practice the Arupa jhana, they will go for the Arupa jhana plan. There's a 28 to 31. That's how one man discern mentality, materiality by means of round of karma, okay, and rounds of karma result. Applying the 12-fold karma classification to round of karma. So when he has thus seen by means of round of karma and rounds of karma result, how mentality and materiality's occurrence is due to condition. He see that as now, so in the past. So either you see now, you also understand what happened in the past. So everything is due to the condition by means of rounds of karma and rounds of karma result, and in future also. So this means that in the past, in the future, in currently now, is also due to the karma and karma result. This is how karma and karma result, the round of karma result, the occurrence of karma, the occurrence of karma result, the continuity of karma, the continuity of karma result, action and fruits of action. This one. So karma result proceed from karma. Result has karma for its source. Future becoming springs from karma. That is how the world goes around. When he sees thus, he abandons all uncertainty, that is to say, the 16 crimes beginning in the way beginning was I in the past. Okay. Yeah. There's some more here. Okay, I think we just break for 5 minutes and we continue. All right, so break for 5 minutes first.